All right, well.
Just like we try to advise people to start play all their players against the Chiefs, the Lions, and the Rams, you had to do it against the Redskins too. I mean, you have to do it.
All right, best matchup of the week, I think, in my books, is New York Giants at New Orleans Saints. Giants are underdogs by 3 points. Likewise, both teams are coming in 4 and 5-0, respectively. I think you start everyone in this game. I think it's going to be an absolute shootout down in New Orleans. What do you guys think?
I think both teams have good defense, though, and the Giants, in fact, have the #1 pass defense. I was wrong last week. I got them actually confused with the Jets on the rush defense. I apologize for that. Just a brain slip. But what happened is that the Giants actually do have the #1 pass defense, and that presents a good challenge for Drew Brees. I still think, between the New Orleans defense, though, shutting down parts of the Giants game, it's still going to be a very, tough competitive game.
Well, we know the weather won't be affecting this game at all because it is being played in a dome.
I would hope not.
But I think that the combination with Eli Manning to Steve Smith and Manningham, try to say that 3 times fast, guys. Smith, Manning.
Yeah, if you're not going to play our games, Rob, we're not going to play your games.
I'm not playing that
forget
game.
about that right now.
But you also have to see that Eli Manning only threw the ball 12 times. I know he didn't have to throw the ball that often against the Oakland Raiders because they absolutely killed him. But Eli Manning's heel's still in question, fellas, and I think that the Saints are going to try to expose that a little bit.
I see. Manning's a tough cookie to me. I think he's always done well when he's been injured. He's had big games, and I think that, like Doug said, their defense is a complete mismatch for the Saints. And Drew Brees, after 6 touchdowns and then whatever it was after that, I'm not even sure he's had a touchdown to pass in like the last 2 weeks. So it's
been all about Pierre Thomas, and like as it should be, he came back from injury. This guy's ran for over 200 yards and 3 scores already.
So it's any of your Drew Brees buzz?
There's a lot of
Pierre Thomas. Pierre Thomas is carrying that Saints offense the past couple weeks.
So I think the Giants won big here, to be honest with you.
One thing's for certain is there are more Pierres this year in the league than there ever have been in the past.
And hopefully see in the future.
Is France really producing that much talent over there?
I think it's from the Cajun sector of New Orleans, actually.
Okay.
All right, Carolina at Tampa Bay. We really don't need to cover this game. I would recommend, just maybe start whoever
guys who are on a bye. Maybe.
D'Angelo Williams and Steve Smith is all you can start there.
Or if you have Peyton Manning on a bye, start Jake Delhomme.
It's good defenses to start against for
Jake
sure.
Delhomme does own racehorses, though, Doug, down there. And maybe Anna Roberts rides them.
Yeah, it is a possibility that happens, Phil. It certainly is. Houston at Cincinnati. Again, Cincinnati minus 4.5. Could be. They are being called the Cardiac Cats. I mean, they may only win this game by 3. I say they win it, though, regardless of what the score is. Houston and Matt Schaub are putting up a lot of offense. So
that makes a very tough gambling prospect, though. I mean, do you bet on Cincinnati or you bet on Houston? I mean, if it's going to be a 3-point game, do you want to be on the – you can't win the game for Cincinnati. You have to bet on Houston in this game, I think.
I'm going to skip that game. I cannot wager on this game because I believe that Cincinnati will win, but I think they're only going to win by 3.
They're both cardiac cats, so yeah, I'd bet on Houston if I was a gambling man.
I love Andre Johnson. He found the end zone twice last week. Matt Schaub, that combination's lethal. I think Cincinnati might look past the Texans a little bit.
No way, dude.
I think they might because a lot of the teams have this past. I mean, if you look at what they did in Arizona this past week, they should have won that game. They came back. They're down 21-0 at the half. Schaub threw for 210 yards in the second half for 2 scores, finding Andre Johnson. They should have scored. They had the ball first and goal at the 3-yard line. Couldn't punch it in. They lose 28-21. This team's been they beat the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau. I think Houston gets a big-time victory in Cincy.
It could be. After their tough 3 games in a row, it could be. You're right about it. It's hard to keep up that pace. Speaking of a tough game they had against Baltimore and Minnesota minus 3, I think Baltimore just came off a really tough loss, and a really tough loss is just as hard to rebound from as a tough win, I believe. And so I think Baltimore may be even overrated in this game. I think Minnesota's gonna maybe flatten them.
Minnesota's favored by 3 points, but I think Baltimore they have a great combination, like I said, with Ray Rice and Willis McGahee. And like I said, Joe Flacco and Derek Mason are on the same page always. And Todd Heap, let's not forget about him. Seems to be like the forgotten guy in that offense, and he's still Todd Heap. He's still a Pro Bowl type tight end. I think that the Minnesota Vikings struggle in this game. I think the Baltimore Ravens turn up the notch on defense a little bit, like they did last week. Their offense didn't really come through, and it kind of was a letdown. But I think that Baltimore playing in a dome where there's no bearing on weather or anything, I think they give it to everything they got in that Brett Favre-led team.
But I think for one thing, Adrian Peterson has got his work cut out for him against the Baltimore.
Like I said,
Very
Adrian
tough
Peterson.
I don't know, man. Cedric Benson had 120 yards against
I
him.
mean, don't bench Adrian Peterson.
No, of course, nobody's
We're
gonna do that.
not going to tell you that.
I think they're going to make Brett Favre try to beat him with his arm.
Yeah,
I think
that's exactly what's
yeah,
gonna happen.
100%. And Percy Harvin's
And Ed Reed's going to try to pick him off.
I would love to see that.
And that's going to be very interesting. Phil, what do you have to say?
I don't understand why the Baltimore Ravens got away from Willis McGahee last weekend, because they really did not appear to use him to the context that he deserved to be used after the first quarter of the season. I mean, Willis McGahee's the guy that should have been used. It was kind of the Ray Rice, let's give everything to Ray Rice and see what he can do. It was all about Ray Rice last weekend, and that kind of confused me. And I think consequently it hurt the Ravens and ultimately cost them the game against the Bengals. But there's no telling. I mean, Baltimore is a weird team. I mean, they could come in and throw any kind of game plan at them where, if they're running. If I was Baltimore, I'd be running the ball. But, they have Flacco. They say they're going to be passing the ball. Mason, their passing game was pretty much non-existent last weekend.
It was non-existent.
It was not there. Our lip service to the Cleveland-Pittsburgh game. It's going to should be a blowout. Start all your Steelers. Don't start any of your Browns. It's probably, if you have any, to start anyway. That's a stupid idea. St. Louis at Jacksonville. Oh, do we have any? Is Jacksonville really favored by 10 after just losing by
41? I think so too. And Mark Bulger comes back in this game. He was 7 for 7 for a touchdown pass. So hopefully he continues that trend going into Jacksonville. I don't know why Jacksonville's catching 10 points. They're brutal, just as well as the St. Louis Rams.
Yeah, that's really silly. But again, there's a limited amount of starters you can use in this game, like Maurice Jones-Drew, Mike Sims-Walker, Torrey Holt, and obviously Steven Jackson. You have to use.
And that's
him.
about it. I don't think he's starting anyone else.
I'll take Jacksonville that game though.
Detroit at Green Bay -13. Detroit may try to hang tough, but let's face it, they're overmatched in this game. I don't really see much point in covering too much of it. Philly at Oakland, let's not even cover it. Philly is going to destroy them. Start all your McNabbs and.
But that's an interesting game though, Doug. We start traveling from East Coast to West Coast. I mean, are they going to really cover 14 points?
Here we go again. I don't even care about the cover. We'll look at that later. But Arizona and Seattle, this is West Coast versus West Coast, and this is a very interesting game because Seattle seems to be getting back on track here, and Arizona's kind of up and down a little bit.
They're very inconsistent.
Very. I saw the game last week. I mean, this team came out, looked like the Pro Bowl caliber team that they were once accustomed to last year. They're up 21-0 against Houston. Then in the second half, they get blown out. Who knows what to expect from this Arizona team? I like Seattle at home because it's so tough to play in Seattle, and the weather's going to be crappy. And you know what? Kurt Warner can't play in that bad weather. And I don't think Arizona can adjust. But I think you still start Larry Fitzgerald and you still start Anquan Bolden.
You got to start all your.
I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. This is going to be one of those games where you don't know what's going to happen to whoever has the last possession.
And then maybe on Monday Night Football, we might have one of our games of the week. We have Denver and San Diego. I mean, these AFC West games are always some of the best games of the year. Denver is undefeated. San Diego is. I think you can beat them up. I mean, I think that Denver is going to beat San Diego. I mean, I'll take Denver in 3 points.
I'll take Denver too. I think that's all the time we have, guys. We'll have to see you next time on Fantasy Football.
We're going to wrap things up, and we'll see you out. Peace out, Robbie and Doug.
Care, guys. Have a good week.
Good job, boys. We'll see you next time on Fantasy Football Review.